What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder, where we talk all things Marvel and MCU. I'm your host, Warren Thompson, and a couple of days ago, we got the official teaser trailer for Ant Man and the Wasp Quantumania, and it looks amazing. We watched Scott Lang, aka Ant Man, his daughter Cassie Lang, Hope Van Dyne, Janet Van Dyne, and Hank Pym get sucked into the quantum realm, where we saw a lot of new characters, including Bill Murray and Kang the Conqueror, or should I say, Kangs. You see, I think Marvel is doing what they typically do with teaser trailers and trailers. They are kind of trying to deceive us, but I mean that in a very good way. They're trying not to give it all away. But I believe that we have discovered what the actual plot for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is, and it may not be exactly what you think it is. Based off of some things that Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige has told us, and based off of some small details in the trailer, I believe that we're going to see many different variants in this movie. Different variants of Ant-Man, but also different variants of Kang. You see, Kevin Feige has already confirmed that there are going to be multiple different variants of Kang in the multiversal saga, which makes sense. It is the multiverse saga, and it's all leading up to the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, where of course we'll see just a ton of different variants of a ton of different characters. But let's specifically just look at Ant-Man and the Wasp, since we just got the trailer Monday. And let's specifically look at a few scenes, and what Kang specifically tells Ant-Man, or should I say a version of Kang tells Ant-Man. For the most part, the vast majority of this trailer is spent inside of the quantum realm, with the exception of perhaps the first 20 seconds. There's a lot that goes on, but there are a few very important details to focus on. One of the first things to notice is what a variant of Kang is telling Ant-Man. As we see Kang, or at least from the head down, we don't actually see his head, but as we see Kang for the very first time, he is putting some type of power source into some type of a device. Now, this is obviously shown because the trailer wants you to see this. It wants to be emphasized. So it's going to be a big part of the movie. And this is hinted at in the trailer. However, something that wasn't shown in this trailer that was shown in the footage at SDCC and D23 earlier this year was footage of Kang the Conqueror basically telling Ant-Man that he wants Ant-Man to steal something for him. That is sort of relayed in this trailer. Kang says, "This place isn't what you think." He says, "I can get you home and give you more time if you help me." And the trailer ends with Kang asking Ant-Man, "So what's it gonna be?" Meaning, are you going to help me? And I believe that he is. I believe this Kang wants this power source from a different Kang the Conqueror. We see a few different shots of Kang in this trailer, but if you notice, if you look very carefully, the outfits they're wearing are slightly different, and that is because I believe we are seeing two different Kangs here. One Kang who isn't so much in power, and one Kang who is. And the other Kang needs the help of Ant-Man to steal something from the Kang in power so he can get in power. So it almost becomes sort of like the enemy of my enemy is my friend, except we know that Kang is still going to be the enemy of Ant-Man, even though he needs the help of him. But the question is, why does Kang, one variant of Kang, need the help of Ant-Man? Well, you have to remember what He Who Remains, who of course is a variant of Kang, he even said in Loki, "They've called me a conqueror before." You have to remember what he said about all of his variants fighting each other. The multiversal war was between Kangs. It wasn't just between a bunch of different universes, a bunch of different people. It was literally between a bunch of different variants of Kang the Conqueror. He Who Remains then shut everything down and created one sole sacred timeline to keep other variants of Kang from emerging. However, like He Who Remains told Loki and Sylvie, if they killed him, the multiverse would essentially break open again and his variants would come, which is exactly what is happening now. So within our MCU right now, within our multiverse, a huge multiversal war has already broken out between the Kangs, and we are witnessing it right now in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. And now Ant-Man has been brought into this multiversal war, whether he likes it or not. But again, why does Kang need Ant-Man's help? Well, because he can shrink down to a size that nobody else can see. Even inside of the quantum realm, as we can see in one specific shot, we see Giant Man, meaning that even though Ant-Man is able to shrink down and get into the quantum realm, he can still shrink even more and he can still grow bigger inside of the quantum realm. This is the very specific skill set that this version of Kang needs, so Ant-Man can go sneak in, grab the power source, and sneak out. And there's a very specific reason that this Kang the Conqueror needs that power source. course. We'll talk about that in just a second, but first, big thank you to Wondery and the Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power official podcast for sponsoring this video. Now, I know a lot of you, like me, have watched The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power on Amazon. It's amazing, I loved it, and since you're on my channel right now, you probably love to dive even deeper than just watching the show. And now you can go deeper into the canals of Numenor, the mines of Khazad-dûm, and more with the official The Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power podcast. Host Felicia Day, who many people probably know, and several special guests provide an inside look at the groundbreaking series and what it took to bring Middle-earth to life. Each episode of the official podcast features exclusive interviews with the series showrunner DJ Payne and Patrick McKay, including the very first full breakdown of the incredible season finale. Felicia also goes behind the scenes with the cast and crew to bring you jaw-dropping stories and Easter eggs you won't want to miss. Watch The Rings of Power on Prime Video and listen to all 8 episodes of the official The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power podcast for free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app right now to listen to The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power podcast. Now, in Ant Man and the Wasp Quantumania, we actually saw Kang's time chair. Kang's time chair is essentially how he travels through time, and without it, he's kind of stuck inside of the quantum realm, which is why he needs Ant-Man's help. The other Kang the Conqueror, who has clearly conquered the quantum realm, or the vast majority of it, since we see pretty much an entire army, a very, very huge army, and essentially the city Chronopolis, which is the headquarters of Kang in the comics, which is located in Limbo, which essentially exists outside of space and time, aka the quantum realm. This Kang right here is pretty much the dominant Kang, and I'm assuming that he pretty much controls all of the power sources needed to power time travel devices. You see, when Kang the Conqueror tells Ant-Man this place is not what you think, it is kind of what we think. The quantum realm is the home of Chronopolis and is Kang the Conqueror's headquarters for the same reasons that it is in Limbo in the comics. It exists outside of space and time, but is the hub for Kang to jump to different places in time and different universes. The quantum realm makes that possible. We saw this in Avengers Endgame. The Avengers all went inside of the quantum realm at the same time, however, they went through different portals and went to different parts in time. This is essentially what Kang the Conqueror does, however, he can also go to other universes because he has mastered this. The Avengers managed to put it out, but Kang is the master of time travel. He can control it way better than anybody could ever imagine. And this is what makes Kang so dangerous. But make no mistake, we are going to be seeing a battle of the Kangs, and I believe Ant-Man and a bunch of different variants of Ant-Man are going to help a specific variant of Kang take down kind of the big bad Kang, if you will. There's a very specific scene in the trailer where we see Ant-Man running with a lot of other Ant-Man. If you look at the very bottom of this scene, you can see a bunch of different variants of Ant-Man, and we can see a very large variant of Ant-Man get shredded to string cheese like we saw Mr. Fantastic get shredded in Multiverse of Madness. So we're clearly going to be seeing a lot of different variants of Ant-Man in this movie, but I wouldn't be shocked if we saw some variants of some other characters as well. We know from the footage that was shown at D23 and SDCC that Kang the Conqueror drops the line to Ant-Man, "You're an Avenger, have I killed you before?" Meaning that Kang has ran into other Avengers before. Perhaps he has taken some prisoner, and perhaps some are being held inside of Chronopolis. Heck, maybe even some variants that are evil are working with Kang and are part of his army. But that line, "Have I killed you before?" actually ties in with a line that one of the other Kangs has said in this trailer, where he says, "I can get you out and give you more time." I believe this is because obviously Kang the Conqueror can see the future, multiple different futures, and has seen that future where a variant of Kang has killed Ant-Man. And I think this is what he is referring to when he is saying, "And I can give you more time." Meaning you don't have to die at the hands of this other Kang the Conqueror. I, myself, can save you if you help me basically get in charge. And from what we've heard, this Kang the Conqueror, of course he's still evil, basically takes Scott's daughter Cassie hostage. So it's pretty much not really a choice. He basically says, "Hey Ant-Man, you're gonna help me or I'm gonna hurt your daughter." So essentially, Ant-Man has been brought into this multiversal war of Kangs. I believe he's going to end up helping this variant of Kang dethrone the other variant, but in turn, create the big bad of the MCU. The main Kang that we'll see throughout the rest of the multiversal saga, and perhaps even the main Kang of the Kang dynasty. Based off of what we've seen in this trailer, this seems to make sense, but hey, let me know what you think about this theory in the comments down below, and of course, let me know what you thought about that awesome trailer. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the latest videos. Don't forget to like the video, and for live updates, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.